Power is never granted. It is seized, honed, and defended. Every moment you hesitate, indecision hands the initiative to those who act. The battlefield of influence stretches before you, invisible yet lethal. A chessboard where each move is observed and calculated. Those who fail to recognize the stakes are already pawns, moved by others' designs. Your mind is the throne from which you rule your actions, and mastery begins with awareness. Observe the world as generals observe terrain. The invisible throne is not seen, but its presence dictates outcomes. Leaders from history, from Machiavelli to Napoleon, understood that silence can be a weapon, that subtle dominance precedes open conquest. They waited, calculated, and moved when advantage presented itself, ensuring that every action reinforced their authority. You too must protect your internal citadel, shielding thoughts from distraction, indecision, and manipulation. Command your narrative before others can impose theirs, understanding that influence begins in the mind before it manifests externally. Every missed decision is a foothold for adversaries. In the office, in social circles, in negotiations, every delay or hesitation signals weakness. Your first move matters more than any grand declaration. It sets the tempo for all engagements that follow. Like a general seizing a strategic hill, claiming initiative early establishes authority and makes others react to your presence rather than dictating theirs. You cannot afford to let indecision dictate your position. Act deliberately, act strategically, and always with intention. Reframe ordinary interactions as skirmishes in a greater war. Small debates over project direction, subtle disagreements in conversations, or even minor challenges to your expertise are the battlegrounds where influence is earned. Approach each with calm confidence, observing without panic, choosing words and actions that assert presence without aggression. A colleague may attempt to undermine your authority in a meeting. Respond with measured clarity. Redirect the discussion to your priorities, demonstrating that your command is steady and considered. Weak. I think we might try this approach. Strong. We will pursue this direction, ensuring resources are aligned. Weak. Maybe we should wait and see. Strong. We act now to secure advantage. Each interaction is an opportunity to consolidate control, to reinforce your throne. Command your environment as you command yourself. Arrange your schedule, your workspace, and your mental focus as a general arranges troops before battle. The clarity of your surroundings influences the clarity of your decisions. Protect your attention like a shield, directing energy where it matters most. Small rituals, repeated deliberately each morning, prepare the mind for decisive action, creating a rhythm that aligns thought and movement. Use these routines to assert the first strike advantage. By the time the world reacts, you have already set the tone, framed the expectations, and secured strategic leverage. Power is earned in silence, presence, and the relentless execution of deliberate actions. Observe, calculate, and act with precision. Do not allow distractions, doubts, or hesitation to dictate outcomes. Every day is an opportunity to advance on the chessboard, to reinforce the invisible throne that is your authority. Your mind, disciplined and vigilant, is your primary weapon. Your decisions are the soldiers that carry your will into reality. Stand in your space with calm confidence, let your demeanor project control, and ensure that every interaction, however small, contributes to your long-term ascendancy. Remember, mastery begins in the unseen. Your first move sets the battlefield. Your awareness protects your citadel, and your actions consolidate power. Every skirmish, every conversation, every decision is an opportunity to command influence without overt struggle. Act decisively, observe relentlessly, and maintain a presence that compels respect. The cost of hesitation is high, but the reward of disciplined strategic action is unmatched. Build your throne in your mind first, and the world will follow. Command yourself first, and the world bends to your presence. Your mind is the throne from which all influence flows, and its mastery is the first law of power. Every thought you allow to dominate shapes your perception of the world, framing the decisions you make and the authority you project. A ruler who cannot control the palace within will never control the world outside. Guard your inner citadel with vigilance, filtering out distractions, manipulative voices, and reactive impulses. Mental clarity is your strategic advantage. It allows you to see threats before they materialize and opportunities before they are seized by others. Command the narrative of your mind. Internal dialogue is the first battlefield, the unseen war that determines outcomes in the external world. Speak with precision in your thoughts. Redirect doubts into calculated assessments. Recognize that the way you frame situations mentally dictates your approach, your energy, and ultimately your influence. A general does not wait for chaos to unfold before issuing orders. Neither should you. Anticipate, plan, and act with clarity that makes hesitation impossible. Cognitive sovereignty is essential. Decisions made like a pawn reacting to every move will leave you overextended, exposed, and manipulated by circumstance. Instead, strategize like a general planning a siege, weighing options, projecting consequences, and controlling tempo. Each choice should reinforce your authority and maintain the initiative. In a team meeting, a colleague may challenge your direction. Respond with measured calm and redirect the discussion to the planned objective, demonstrating command without aggression. Weak. I suppose that could work. Strong. We proceed with this plan to secure optimal results. Weak. Maybe we need to rethink. Strong. We move decisively to capitalize on this advantage. Structure your mental routines like a battlefield layout. Identify vulnerable points in your focus and fortify them through disciplined practice. Rehearse decisions mentally before action, mapping every potential countermove. Treat interruptions, doubts, and external pressures as enemy advances that must be observed, analyzed, and neutralized with precision. Your mind is a fortress. Maintain vigilant watch, anticipate incursions and repel distractions before they can erode control. Mastery of thought translates into tangible influence. When you act from a place of internal authority, others respond instinctively to your presence. Calm assessment, deliberate action, and controlled energy signal competence and command, creating leverage in negotiations, collaborations, and social dynamics. Build your throne in thought first. Every external action will reinforce its foundation. Every moment spent unguarded or reactive is a surrender. Take control of your mental territory immediately. Eliminate clutter, assert focus, and direct attention to strategic priorities. Let every thought serve the consolidation of power, every decision reinforce authority, and every interaction flow from the clarity of your internal command. Stand firm in your cognitive sovereignty, and the world will recognize your presence before a single word is spoken. Rule your mind, and you rule all that moves before it. Your morning is the first battlefield of the day, where victories are claimed before the world is fully awake. Every sunrise presents a new campaign, and the way you seize it determines the tempo of influence and control. The initial hours set the tone. Act with deliberate strategy, and the rest of the day will follow your command rather than dictate your reactions. Treat each morning as a general prepares for war, with planning, precision, and readiness to strike at the opportune moment. Rituals are your infantry, the first line of disciplined action. Structured habits form the foundation of control, each small victory compounding into a strategic advantage. Simple acts organizing your space, reviewing priorities, physical preparation are not trivial. They are tactical maneuvers that protect your mind and body from disorder. By investing in these routines, you create forward positions that your opponent's distractions, stress, reactive impulses cannot breach. Guard them as a commander guards supply lines, and your day becomes a coordinated offensive rather than a chaotic skirmish. The first strike advantage is decisive. The initial move in any engagement often dictates the rhythm and tempo for all that follows. Begin with clarity and action, whether it is addressing the most critical task, engaging with collaborators, or setting your mental focus. Small hesitations allow circumstances to dictate your position. Decisive movement asserts authority over both time and environment. A colleague may attempt to divert your morning priorities with urgent but minor concerns. Handle this calmly, redirecting energy to your intended plan. Weak? I guess we can look at that first. Strong? We address this after completing the current priority. Establish the sequence with an unshakable command. Morning mindset armor shields you from reactive chaos. The first thoughts, the initial exposure to external stimuli, often provoke emotion-driven responses. By creating mental fortifications through meditation, journaling, or strategic review, you reduce susceptibility to unnecessary disruption. These practices are defensive tools, reinforcing your internal citadel so that no unexpected challenge can penetrate without deliberate evaluation. Anticipate the incoming pressures, observe without immediate reaction, and maintain composure as your protective barrier. Control over the dawn is control over influence. Every choice you make before the world stirs consolidates power. Every deliberate act builds authority. By seizing the morning, you dictate the pace, framing the day on your terms rather than reacting to external forces. Approach each sunrise as a campaign you must win with precision and discipline. Your rituals, first strikes, and armored mindset compound into momentum that is nearly impossible to contest. Stand with deliberate presence, move with tactical intent, and let every morning reinforce your command over the day. Conquer the dawn, and the day bows to your strategy. Silence is a weapon, and stillness is the armor of those who dominate without announcing their presence. In every room, in every encounter, the quiet observer commands more than the loudest voice because presence is felt, not proclaimed. Like a predator stalking unseen, your attention, posture, and restraint create an invisible influence that others cannot resist or anticipate. Master this skill, and you move with authority even when no one is watching. Invisible dominance begins with positioning yourself where observation grants leverage. Stand without urgency, speak without excess, and let others reveal intentions through action and word. Your presence alone signals control, prompting deference without force. A calm stance, deliberate gestures, and measured breathing establish the impression that you are fully aware and strategically untouchable. In any social or professional environment, this subtlety turns you into the center of attention without ever seeking it. Strategic pauses amplify power. Words spoken too soon lose impact, and movements made prematurely betray intent. By timing each statement, each gesture, you strike psychologically, guiding perception and shaping responses. Silence allows opponents to act first, exposing weaknesses and patterns. Pause before reacting to provocation. Let others overcommit while you maintain clarity. Weak? I'm not sure if that's correct. Strong? That is noted. We will adjust after reviewing the full context. Weak? Maybe we should consider another approach. Strong? We implement this approach now, and alternatives are addressed later. Every measured interval turns observation into influence, anticipation into advantage. Observation is intelligence gathering. Watch how people behave under pressure. Notice contradictions between words and actions. Identify where motives diverge from appearance. Use these insights to guide decisions, reinforce authority, and avoid missteps. Knowledge acquired without disclosure is more potent than any visible display of power. The predator does not reveal its presence until the strike is certain. So too must you gather intelligence silently, using awareness as a tactical resource. Calm leadership in the face of minor disagreements demonstrates mastery of stillness. When a team member challenges a proposed direction, respond with composed authority, acknowledging their point, but redirecting focus to strategic priorities. Weak. I suppose that could work. Strong. We proceed with the plan as outlined, ensuring alignment with objectives. This measured response consolidates influence, showing that control derives from thoughtfulness and timing, not volume or aggression. Master stillness to command without confrontation. Presence is power. Patience is precision. Each silent moment, each deliberate observation reinforces your dominance and amplifies your influence across conversations, meetings, and negotiations. Let your restraint be a signal that you act with certainty and strike only when advantage is absolute. In mastering the art of weaponized stillness, you transform every space into territory you control without ever raising a hand. Strike with silence, and the world bows to your presence. Power is maintained through decisive action, not hesitation. A commander who allows weakness to persist within the ranks undermines every future victory. Ruthless elimination is not cruelty. It is discipline applied with precision to secure long-term advantage. Leaders throughout history, from Machiavelli's observations of Italian principalities to Napoleon's campaigns, understood that the strength of a force depends on the quality and loyalty of its components. To maintain dominance, you must identify and remove what drains energy, focus, or potential. Clean the ranks with intention. Evaluate every relationship, habit, and commitment that consumes resources without yielding results. Corrupt advisors, toxic colleagues, and distracting obligations are liabilities that compromise strategy. Historical rulers purged internal corruption swiftly to prevent broader collapse. You must apply the same principle in modern life. Prioritize the elements that enhance your strength and eliminate those that weaken it. By removing what does not serve your objectives, you free capacity for decisive action and long-term growth. Focus on vital targets. Not every conflict warrants engagement, and not every challenge demands attention, like a general choosing where to deploy troops. Identify the battles that produce the greatest strategic return. Minor skirmishes may distract, wasting resources and attention. Concentrate on efforts that advance position, reputation, and influence. A colleague may question why a minor dispute is ignored. Respond with calm authority, emphasizing strategic priorities. Weak. I don't know if this matters. Strong. Our focus is on the initiatives that deliver measurable impact. Let discernment guide allocation of time, energy, and influence. Sacred ruthlessness ensures survival and respect. Discipline applied without hesitation signals competence and earns the deference of allies and adversaries alike. By committing to tough decisions, you establish a culture of accountability and clarity. Indecision invites disorder. Hesitation fosters weakness. Respect is won not through leniency, but through consistent, principled action. Every eliminated distraction, every disengaged, unproductive element strengthens your position and communicates authority without argument. Apply these principles systematically. Regularly audit commitments, relationships, and routines to remove inefficiency. Strike decisively where weakness threatens progress, and maintain vigilance over new potential liabilities. Your throne is secure only when your forces are lean, loyal, and fully aligned with your objectives. Action must be deliberate, coldly reasoned, and consistent, ensuring that every element in your domain contributes to advancement rather than undermining it. Ruthless elimination is not personal, it is strategic. Let every decision reinforce clarity, focus, and authority. Purge what hinders, concentrate on what advances, and enforce discipline without hesitation. Strength multiplies when weaknesses are removed, and respect solidifies when others witness unwavering command. Severe weakness, and your power becomes unstoppable. Power is projected before it is exercised. The mask of command shields internal uncertainty and broadcasts authority to the world. Even when doubts arise, presenting calm confidence ensures others perceive strength. In every interaction, your posture, voice, and expression are instruments of influence. Leaders who command effectively do so through deliberate projection, creating a presence that compels attention, respect, and compliance without overt force. The face of fearlessness begins with body language. Stand tall, move deliberately, and meet eyes with steady assurance. Your voice must carry clarity and calm, each word chosen to assert rather than negotiate. These outward signals manipulate perception, allowing your presence to dictate the tempo of engagements. When a colleague challenges your direction, respond with composed authority, redirecting focus without defensiveness. Weak, I'm not sure that will work. Strong, we proceed with this approach, ensuring alignment with objectives. Let control of demeanor override any internal hesitation. Predictable unpredictability strengthens your influence. Do not allow others to anticipate every move. Maintain ambiguity around intentions while projecting confidence. This duality forces opponents to react to your actions rather than imposing their will on your decisions. Timing, phrasing, and subtle cues become weapons in your psychological arsenal. Like a chess master who conceals strategy while moving pieces decisively, you command perception without revealing all your plans. Authority as costume extends beyond words to appearance and presentation. Dressing and speaking like a ruler signals dominance before any action is taken. Professionalism, attention to detail, and deliberate choices in attire reinforce credibility and control. The visual impression aligns with behavior, ensuring that others interpret you as competent, intentional, and deserving of influence. Treat every element of self-presentation as a tool to fortify perceived authority. Combine these principles to wear power as armor. Each gesture, pause, and expression becomes a layer of influence, shielding vulnerability while projecting command. The mask of authority allows you to act decisively, maintain strategic advantage, and guide outcomes before external forces intervene. Confidence is learned, cultivated, and consistently displayed. It is the silent signal that separates leaders from followers. Command presence, conceal doubt, and embody authority in every interaction. Let posture, voice, and expression align with intent, creating an aura of control that precedes action. Every measured pause, every deliberate decision, every visual cue reinforces dominance, ensuring that perception follows your design and influence manifests effortlessly. Wear authority like armor, and the world yields before your presence. Decisiveness is the sharpest weapon in your arsenal, and the most effective strikes are those unseen. To neutralize threats before they manifest, you must cultivate an inner assassin, a mind that anticipates, calculates, and executes with precision. Every moment spent hesitating allows adversaries to gain advantage. True mastery lies in preparation, observation, and instant action, ensuring that when conflict arises, you move before they even recognize the danger. Silent preparation is your foundation. Mentally rehearse scenarios like a general surveying terrain before a campaign, map potential obstacles, predict reactions, and visualize sequences of moves and counter-moves. Each detail studied in advance becomes a strategic foothold, giving you the initiative when others act blindly. By internalizing multiple contingencies, you reduce the chaos of the external world to a controlled environment where you dictate tempo and outcome. Anticipate betrayal with vigilance. In both personal and professional arenas, subtle signs often precede disruption. Inconsistent behavior, guarded words, or hidden agendas. Recognize these cues early and integrate them into your mental map. Treat intelligence gathering as routine. Never reactive. A colleague or partner may attempt a subtle undermining tactic. Respond with calm precision, reinforcing boundaries without confrontation. Weak. I feel like that might be an issue. Strong. We adjust our approach based on observed patterns, ensuring alignment with objectives. Early detection prevents escalation and maintains authority. Swift execution transforms knowledge into advantage. Once a threat is identified and assessed, act decisively. Hesitation erodes control, while prompt, precise action neutralizes risk and reinforces dominance. Each movement should be intentional, leaving no opportunity for counteraction. Like a predator striking at the perfect moment, your timing maximizes impact while minimizing exposure. Integrate preparation and observation into action seamlessly so that strategy flows from thought to execution without interruption. The inner assassin requires constant sharpening. Maintain mental discipline, monitor patterns of behavior around you, and rehearse responses until they become instinctive. By controlling your reactions and acting before opponents anticipate your moves, you seize initiative and maintain strategic superiority. Each preemptive maneuver builds confidence, reinforcing your authority and deterring future threats. Harness decisiveness, cultivate foresight, and strike with precision. Let preparation, observation, and swift action converge, ensuring you neutralize threats before they materialize and maintain absolute control over the battlefield of influence. Strike unseen, and dominance becomes inevitable. Hunger drives the relentless, desire fuels the ambitious. Within you lies a predator that thrives on purpose and refuses complacency. Feeding the wolf is about channeling that inner hunger strategically, converting craving into energy that propels action and sharpens focus. Without control, appetite becomes chaos. With mastery, it becomes power. Every setback, every slight, every envy observed in others can be transformed into motivation that strengthens resolve and accelerates advancement toward your throne. Controlled appetite is the first rule. Do not allow cravings for wealth, recognition, or mastery to dominate your judgment. Discipline your impulses so that each desire serves strategy rather than distraction. Like a seasoned hunter who tracks prey without rushing, approach ambition with patience and calculation, ensuring that every pursuit advances position and consolidates influence. Avoid indulgence that undermines discipline, and instead invest energy in calculated maneuvers that yield meaningful gains. Motivation functions as fuel. Frustration from failure, envy of others' success, or professional obstacles should sharpen, not weaken, determination. Convert perceived slights into insight and preparation, allowing them to refine tactics and reinforce resilience. When a rival questions your methods or challenges authority, respond with composed clarity. Weak. I feel frustrated by their approach. Strong. We adjust our strategy, ensuring it outperforms expectations. Channeling emotion into strategic action strengthens dominance and accelerates momentum. Starve weakness to sustain power. Limit indulgences that sap focus. excess comfort, distraction, or unproductive habit erode influence. A disciplined regimen of thought, effort, and calculated risk fortifies your internal wolf, making it ready to strike when opportunity appears. Each controlled sacrifice reinforces authority and maintains the sharpness needed for sustained advancement. The predator's strength comes not from abundance, but from the clarity and intensity forged by restraint. Combine appetite, motivation, and disciplined deprivation to feed the wolf without losing control. Let every desire become a tool, every challenge a source of energy, and every restraint a strategic investment in long-term power. Mastering inner hunger ensures that ambition drives purpose, focus, and decisive action rather than chaos or overreach. The wolf within must be nourished carefully, transforming inner fire into unstoppable influence and authority. Feed the wolf, and it will conquer all. Life is a chessboard, where every action carries consequence, and every decision shapes destiny. To move without foresight is to surrender initiative, leaving others to dictate the tempo of your life. Mastering the game requires recognizing patterns, calculating positions, and understanding that sacrifice often precedes dominance. Leaders throughout history, from military strategists to political innovators, have leveraged this principle. They observed, anticipated, and positioned themselves to win before the first engagement occurred. Calculate the board meticulously. Observe social dynamics, political structures, and professional hierarchies to discern where influence resides and where risk lurks. Each interaction, alliance, or negotiation functions as a piece on the board. Understand its power, limitations, and potential trajectory. A miscalculated move can create vulnerability, while strategic placement can control the flow of events. Maintain awareness of both immediate surroundings and long-term implications, adjusting your strategy as circumstances evolve. Sacrifice for greater gain is a central tenet. Temporary setbacks, yielding influence in one arena, relinquishing minor advantages, or allowing a competitor minor victories, can secure long-term dominance. Historical examples abound: generals who withdrew troops to consolidate supply lines, or statesmen who delayed immediate rewards to secure enduring alliances. Weak, I lost that battle. Strong, I repositioned to ensure victory in the campaign. Understand which losses are tactical and treat them as investments in ultimate control. Anticipate opponents relentlessly. Predict moves, motivations, and potential strategies of those around you before they act. Observe patterns of behavior, noting tendencies, strengths, and vulnerabilities. When a rival challenges authority or contests a decision, respond with composure, preempting escalation by controlling the tempo and flow of engagement. Your foresight allows action to remain proactive rather than reactive, transforming threats into opportunities for influence. Integrate calculation, sacrifice, and anticipation into a unified approach. Each decision on the chessboard of life should reinforce your position, constrain rivals, and advance toward long-term objectives. Dominate the flow of events through planning, observation, and decisive execution. Life rewards those who see the board in its entirety and act with clarity and precision. Master the board, and victory is inevitable. Discipline is forged in the crucible of daily practice, and the mind becomes steel through relentless repetition. To command yourself is to command all circumstances around you. Each morning, each decision, each challenge presents a test. Yield and be shaped by chaos, or endure and shape yourself into an unbreakable force. True power is internal before it manifests externally. Without a mind trained in resilience, influence crumbles under pressure. Pain is your instructor. Physical discomfort, mental strain, and deliberate challenges expand your capacity for control. Endure short-term hardship to fortify long-term dominance. Leaders from history often subjected themselves to rigorous routines, harsh environments, or disciplined exercises that honed judgment and stamina. Weak. This is too difficult. Strong. I will endure to master. Let every trial refine your focus, expand your tolerance, and steel your will. Habitual fortitude compounds silently but relentlessly. Small acts of consistency, rising early, deliberate focus, resisting fleeting temptations, aggregate into monumental advantage. Like sharpening a blade, incrementally, daily discipline prepares you to act decisively when opportunity arises. Neglect these rituals, and the edge dulls. Maintain them, and rivals will crumble against your unyielding momentum. Weak. I'll start tomorrow. Strong. I strive today to secure tomorrow. Each habit strengthens the architecture of your mind and commands respect through visible steadiness. Forge an unshakable core. Internal stability is armor against fear, doubt, and manipulation. Calmly facing pressure, you shape perception without aggression. Others may react emotionally, but your composure projects authority. Presence becomes a weapon. Even in disagreement, respond with quiet firmness, letting your resolve speak louder than words. Stand resolute, knowing that the inner fortress is impervious to external turbulence. Integrate pain, discipline, and composure into a ritualized existence. Condition yourself to thrive under adversity, to act with precision, and to maintain focus regardless of distraction. A mind like iron bends nothing. It endures everything and commands without shouting. Each day, each choice, each action is another hammer strike, shaping you into a figure of unassailable strength. Endure, sharpen, dominate. True mastery renders influence invisible, yet inescapable. Those who seek to sway or intimidate you find nothing tangible to grasp, yet your presence shapes outcomes as water shapes stone. This is the apex predator's domain, silent, calculated, and utterly untouchable. Influence is not forced, it is absorbed, like gravity pulling everything into orbit around a force unseen but undeniable. Strategic scarcity amplifies this power. Presence is a resource. Overexposure diminishes value. By cultivating rarity, you become indispensable. Others must adjust their actions, plans, and decisions around your availability, granting you authority without confrontation. Weak. I must be everywhere. Strong. I am where I am needed most. Limit visibility. Control access and let absence itself reinforce dominance. Commanding authority is the final layer. Enter a room and let posture, calm assessment, and controlled timing dictate the dynamics. Speak when necessary, act when decisive. Let others' hesitation fill the gaps you leave intentionally. Influence flows through observation and reputation rather than coercion. Even when faced with disagreement, responding with measured presence. Silence, a subtle gesture or a composed correction, asserts control far more effectively than overt confrontation. Master the channels through which power circulates. Observe without needing to intervene. Let decisions be subtly guided by your prior input, and allow outcomes to align with your strategic positioning. A network of influence is strongest when invisible, seamless, and seemingly natural. Actions and reputation precede you. Others act under your shadow without realizing it. Through invisibility, scarcity, and final aura, you achieve a level of mastery where attempts to manipulate, intimidate, or deceive are futile. Presence becomes a silent force that organizes reality in your favor, commanding attention and compliance without raising a hand. Cultivate this apex position through deliberate absence, strategic timing, and unwavering composure. Command unseen, dominate effortlessly. Power is forged in the convergence of strategy, discipline, and presence. The ultimate form of influence is not a single act but a continuous symphony, where every observation, decision, and maneuver serves a unified purpose. Your internal army, composed of intellect, patience, ruthlessness, and foresight, aligns into a singular force capable of shaping circumstances before they manifest. Like a general commanding a battlefield, your understanding of terrain, allies, and adversaries allows you to orchestrate outcomes with precision and inevitability. Each action, each silence, each calculated exposure becomes a tool in the relentless pursuit of mastery. Synthesis of strategy is your foundation. Observation grants clarity. Discern patterns in behavior, anticipate moves, and identify weaknesses. Ruthlessness removes obstacles without hesitation. Patience ensures timing aligns with maximum impact. Strategic pauses magnify authority, allowing others' decisions to reveal themselves while your intent remains hidden. Weak, I must react immediately. Strong, I choose the moment of greatest advantage. Combine these elements seamlessly, so every decision, gesture, and word reinforces the perception of omnipotence. Presence itself becomes a weapon. Your aura communicates command without articulation. Enter a room and allow posture, expression, and controlled cadence to dictate dynamics. Even before you act, outcomes bend toward your influence. Let disagreement arise as a controlled variable. Respond with calm certainty, using silence or subtle redirection to assert authority without confrontation. This cultivated presence instills respect, subtle fear, and deference. It becomes a force multiplier, enhancing every maneuver executed by your strategic mind. Mastery over fate is the apex of this convergence. Treat every challenge as a battlefield to convert obstacles into advantage. Identify opportunities hidden within opposition and redirect potential threats into engines of growth. Like a chess grandmaster, sacrifice minor elements for long-term dominance, secure positioning, and compel adversaries into predictable patterns. Transform envy, pressure, and setbacks into fuel. Let external chaos refine internal discipline rather than erode it. Every interaction, every moment of observation, every deliberate act coalesces into a singular persona, the fully realized ruler of self and circumstance. Decisions are preemptive, movements are deliberate, and influence flows in invisible currents, shaping outcomes effortlessly. Internal cohesion magnifies external authority. By mastering this synthesis, you command life itself, bending complexity into predictable results while maintaining composure, confidence, and ethical discipline. Integrate all laws as threads into a tapestry of unstoppable influence. Observe meticulously, act decisively, maintain presence as a silent authority, and convert every challenge into leverage. The apex of power is not domination over others, but mastery over self, turning every potential threat into a calculated opportunity for elevation. Your internal army marches in lockstep. Your presence dictates reality, and your mind transforms obstacles into instruments of victory. Conquer within, and the world yields. Mastery begins and ends with you. Every day, the battlefield of influence demands discipline, presence, and relentless ritual. Your throne is not granted. It is built, fortified, and defended through deliberate action. Approach each morning as a general surveying territory. Assess your strengths, identify weaknesses, and commit to rituals that strengthen mind, body, and strategic intent. Stand firm in daily practice, for small acts of discipline compound into unshakable authority. Daily throne rituals are the scaffolding of your power. Begin with clarity. Set intentions that align with your long-term vision. Engage in mental rehearsal, review priorities, and execute tasks with precision, treating every interaction as an opportunity to assert competence and composure. Physical poise, measured speech, and strategic silence communicate command before any words are spoken. Let repetition transform procedure into instinct, so control becomes second nature and influence radiates without effort. Weak. I hope I stay disciplined. Strong. I enforce discipline through ritual. Internalize the mantra of mastery. Command yourself first, and the world follows. Your thoughts, emotions, and reactions are the first frontier. Victory here precedes external success. Resist impulses that fragment focus. Measure every choice against long-term objectives. Let setbacks serve as intelligence, not distraction, and treat envy or opposition as data to refine strategy. Confidence stems from competence executed consistently, not from chance or external validation. Eternal vigilance maintains the throne. Power is cyclical, ebbing and flowing with attention, action, and perception. Guard against complacency by monitoring your environment, anticipating challenges, and refining routines. Observe without attachment, act without hesitation, and recalibrate when circumstances shift. Even minor lapses invite erosion of influence. Continuous reinforcement ensures dominance remains unchallenged. In moments of disagreement, respond with calm clarity, guiding outcomes without unnecessary confrontation, demonstrating that authority rests in steadiness, not aggression. Integrate ritual, mantra, and vigilance into an inseparable system. Command your mind, enforce your routines, and project disciplined presence. Let every action, thought, and observation be a deliberate maneuver in the ongoing campaign for mastery. Influence grows not from luck, but from the relentless forging of self, turning consistency into authority and awareness into unshakable control. Rule yourself, and all else bows.